It's really about respect and respecting one's identity and culture. And for years, like travellers were seen in the 1963 Itinerary Act. It would name travellers as failed settled people. And being a traveller for me is like, you can't just become a traveller overnight. You're born into your parents, your grandparents are travellers. The All-Ireland Traveller Health Study that was carried out in 2008, the findings in 2010 showed there's roughly 40,000 travellers in Ireland. So I'll just give an example. Croke Park is only down the road here, it's a stadium, and that holds 82,000 people. So if you were to put all the travellers in Ireland into Croke Park, we'd half fill the stadium. Now, thinking how small of a community we are based on that when you visualise it, and if you look at all the issues affecting travellers, you know, more could be done. You know, we're not a big population. The main issues that really is shown now is suicide is 7 times higher than the general population. 7 times higher for traveller men, it's 5 times higher for traveller women. And the All-Ireland Traveller Health Study showed that traveller men live 15 years less than the settled population, and traveller women live 11 years less than the general population. And when you look at them figures, and in any other community there'd be uproar, and rightly so, you know. And there's a whole broad of reasons why. Like if you look at accommodation, for example, overcrowding, access to services, trust, stigma, it's all playing. Discrimination is the big one. And I'm not talking about years ago, it's still happening to this day. I always felt that the Irish state took so long to recognise traveller ethnicity, and they really kind of didn't help as such, because they weren't recognising travellers and it fizzled down onto the ground. And like in regards to media, like we would welcome media and we encourage travellers to get involved in media, but a lot of the media stuff, and not all, but the most majority of media that shows travellers in a negative light. And for people that wouldn't know travellers or never lived beside travellers, when they're exposed to that kind of information, you know, it can lead into the typical stereotyping. Like, one of the things that's really frustrating is that there's no accountability when you're on social media. You go into the comments section and people can say things that are totally nasty and not nice, and then you can report and you can report or block, but these same people can go back out, change their name, and they're back in on a different page. You know, there seems to be no accountability there for that. Like the worst of it that I experienced, that I seen, was around the time of the Carrick Mines tragedy, where we lost 11 members of the travelling community to a fire. When people were grieving and had their families upside down, and some of these comments were just totally horrific, like, you know. And when you look at internet access for young boys and girls and young men and women being exposed to that, you know, and seeing that there's no accountability there, I worry. Just as the recession was happening, we had made it very, very clear that education is very, very important, and not to cut the supports to the traveller education section. And that was completely butchered. We've had no funding since 2012 for traveller education. And just to say there that like in the recession, there was a survey carried out done by Brian Harvey, and it's Travelling with Austerity. And he looked across all the sectors, and the traveller section was the most disproportionately cut to in recession. We've been calling for a long time, like for the Traveller Health Advisory Committee, that was completely disbanded in 2012. And what that was officials from the Department of Health that really had the power to make decisions, and that completely disbanded. And we've been calling for that to be reconvened. And Minister Harris gave us a commitment last year that in the first quarter of 2018 he would reconvene that committee. And here we are now, we're going well into May, and we have no idea where we stand. Like, until we get to that level, that the Department of Health and the Irish government sit at that level and have traveller voices there and work with each other, you know, then you can try and sort out all these other issues. Show the travellers the respect, because who knows travellers best than travellers themselves? A lot of decisions has been made about travellers without travellers, and it's just gaining that respect. And although we welcome the recognition, which is very important, but we're also not naive to know that the issues that's affecting travellers on a day-to-day basis, ethnicity won't wipe that away, but it's the first step, hopefully, to addressing all those issues.